So the main course that we're making today is going to be a pork dish with goat cheese and a blueberry reduction sauce. And I'm also going to be making some roasted broccoli and some mashed cauliflower. So the first thing I need to get started with is I'm going to make a garlic infused oil. So just get a small saucepan and turn it to medium heat. And just fill the bottom of the saucepan with canola oil. And then I'm just going to use 2 cloves of garlic. You don't need to really cut it or anything, just peel it and just toss them on in there. And just gently warm the oil, and it's going to infuse the oil with the garlic. So I'm going to be preparing my sides for our main course this evening, which we're going to do a roasted broccoli. So I'm going to just cut the big stems off of the broccoli. And as always, don't forget to compost your extra vegetable matter. And I want some nice long stalks of broccoli. So what we're going to do is just pick the pieces apart. If the stem is extra long and you think it's too big, you can just cut off the end and then just cut it into nice long florets there. So we finished chopping up our broccoli for our roasted broccoli and saving some for the hummus. And I'm going to cook the cauliflower in some chicken stock, but we have one vegan coming over, so I'm getting prepared for her. So I'm going to put some cauliflower in with the roasted broccoli so she can have some of that as well. So you just want to cut off the leaves and just make sure you're getting any remaining leaves off of there. Just compost that and just dig your knife into the bottom of it and try and wedge it open. You'll see that there's the core in there, and you just want to cut out the core. Try and do that in quarters. So find the easiest way to get the core out. And you're just left with the head of the cauliflower, and then you can just pick apart the little florets. They look like the little trees, so that should be good, and we're going to save the rest of this for our mashed cauliflower. So now I have my garlic infused oil that we just made, and I'm just going to use a little bit of this, probably about 2 tablespoons for the whole sheet of vegetables, and just drizzle that over. Don't worry if it's everywhere because we're going to toss it. And as always, salt and pepper. Just a sprinkle over the top. A good grind of that fresh ground black pepper. And we're going to add a little spice to this. This is a spice mixture that I got on my honeymoon in Italy. And if you can see, it's got some red pepper flakes. It has some oregano, some basil, some garlic in there. And I'm just going to use that because it's going to give it a nice heat. And it also has some garlic and spices in there. So I'm just going to sprinkle that all over the vegetables. Woo! Inhale a little bit of that. And just give it a good toss. Make sure that the oil is all over the vegetables. Make sure it's spread out evenly so they're all getting cooked at the same rate. And then put it into the oven at 350 degrees and just continue to watch over it and toss it a couple times as you're cooking. So I'm going to start my cauliflower for the mashed cauliflower as a side. So I decided to do cauliflower instead of a potato or rice or something like that because, again, it's adding in an extra shot of veggies and no one will ever know the difference. So we've just got some prepared chicken stock, and I'm going to cover the bottom of our pan just about a ½ an inch up, and then we're going to toss in our cauliflower. You don't need to cover the cauliflower with the stock because we're actually going to just boil that off, and it's going to cook it perfectly and infuse the cauliflower with that chickeny goodness. Just cover it up, turn it to high, just keep an eye on it because if it burns off and it starts to burn on the bottom, and then your cauliflower is ruined. So just keep an eye on it. So my cauliflower has absorbed all of that chicken broth, and I'm going to whiz it up in my food processor. Okay, I think it could use a little help coming together, so I'm just going to put a little bit of that light margarine in it. It up. Okay, it's getting nice and smooth. Just push it down, make sure that all the bits are getting down into the blade.
Are you looking for a certain consistency here?
You want it to be nice and smooth like mashed potatoes would be. Okay, looking good. Do a little taste. Guess what it needs? Salt and pepper. Just a little bit though, because that chicken broth has just infused all into the cauliflower, and it really barely needs anything. Just a touch of salt. And mix it back up. Perfect. We're ready to plate. Okay, here's some of our roasted broccoli. It's got nice little crisp edges, and all that flavor has infused into the broccoli. And put a nice portion of our mashed cauliflower. Here's our dinner for this evening. It looks fabulous. Thank you for joining me on Sing for Your Supper. Cheers.